Call to order. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Halton Catholic District School Board on Tuesday, September 17, 2024. Please check, test. Okay. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed and will also be posted on the board's YouTube channel. Trustees, in order to be recognized, please use the hand up feature in Teams to be automatically placed in queue. And please remember to turn your desk mics on when you speak. Tonight, we are honored to welcome Father Ranjan Desa, who is the pastor of St. Dominic Parish and the Halton Diocese Dean. We'll start off with the first item, land acknowledgement, opening prayer, the Our Father, and the national anthem. I ask staff to please start us off with the land acknowledgement.
Halton, as we know it today,
is rich in the history and modern traditions
of many First Nations and the Métis.
From the lands of the Anishinaabe
to the Attawandaron,
the Haudenosaunee,
and the Métis.
These lands surrounding the Great Lakes
are steeped in Indigenous history.
As we gather today on these treaty lands,
our Catholic social teachings
call us in solidarity
with our Indigenous brothers and sisters
to honor and respect
the four directions: lands, waters, plants, animals, and ancestors
that walked before us.
All these wonderful elements of creation exist,
gifted to us by our Creator God. We acknowledge and thank
the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation
for being stewards of this traditional territory.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite Father Ranjan to lead us in the opening prayer.
Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts. And we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and the support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all, and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always, through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever.
Father Ranjan, could you please lead us with the Lord's Prayer?
Let's pray together. The prayer Jesus prayed himself, and when we pray this prayer, we are praying with Jesus. He prays with us because Jesus is our brother, and he only called God his Father. With Jesus, we call his God his Father, our God as our Father. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Thank you, Father Ranjan. We'll now do the national anthem.
True faith to love.
Item 1.1, motions arising from in-camera. There were two motions in the in-camera session that will require a vote in the public session. I will read the first motion. Do we have it on? The first motion. Resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board adopt the regular in-camera board meeting property matter. May I have a mover, please? Trustee Saunders moves. Trustee Powell seconds. I'll take it to a recorded vote. Trustee O'Hearn Chanada.
I'm in favor.
Vice Chair Agnew.
In favor.
Trustee Kelly. Trustee Murphy.
In favor.
Trustee Saunders.
In favor.
Trustee McGuire.
In favor.
Trustee Yeboah.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Powell.
In favor.
Trustee Kennedy.
In favor.
We have 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. We move on to item 1.2, the second motion. I will now ask Vice Chair Agnew to help me read the second motion. Vice Chair Agnew.
Okay, plug your ears. I apologize in advance. Resolve the Halton Catholic District School Board approve the central terms and conditions of employment contained within the memorandum of settlement and attached appendices dated August the 10th, 2024, made between the Principals and Vice Principals Association comprised of Association des Directions et Directions Adjointes des Écoles Franco-Ontariennes, ADFO, the Catholic Principals Council of Ontario, CPCO, and the Ontario Principals Council, OPC, and l'Association des Councils Scolaires des Écoles Publiques de l'Ontario, ACEPO, the Association Franco-Ontarienne des Councils Scolaires Catholiques, AFO, CSC, and the Ontario Catholic School Trustees Association, OCSTA, and the Ontario Public School Boards Association, OPSBA, and agreed to by the Crown. Further, that the approval of the motion of the central terms be reported to OXTA.
Thank you, Vice Chair. May I have a mover for this item, please? Trustee Powell moves, looking for a seconder. Seconded by Vice Chair Agnew. I'll take this to a recorded vote. Vice Chair Agnew.
In favor.
Trustee Kelly.
In favor.
Trustee Murphy.
In favor.
Trustee Saunders.
In favor.
Trustee McGuire.
In favor.
Trustee Yeboah.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Powell.
In favor.
Trustee Kennedy.
In favor.
Trustee O'Hearn Chanada.
In favor.
So we have 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. Our next order of business is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda, and do trustees want to remove any item from the consent agenda? I see a hand up. Trustee Carabella.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to remove consent agenda item 6.1.2.3, the trustee code of conduct. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Carabella. Any other additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Looking for a mover, please. Trustee Powell moves. Looking for a seconder.
Carabella.
Trustee Carabella seconds. I'll take this to a recorded vote. Trustee Kelly.
In favor.
Trustee Murphy.
In favor.
Trustee Saunders.
Favor.
Trustee McGuire.
In favor.
Trustee Yeboah.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Powell.
In favor.
Trustee Kennedy.
Favor.
Trustee O'Hearn Chanada.
In favor.
Vice Chair Agnew.
Favor.
Good. 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. The agenda is now approved. We move on to item number 3, declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest to be declared tonight? Seeing none, we shall move on to our next order of business, which is presentations. Item 4.1, senior staff update. Summer School Director Klein, please introduce the presentation.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to turn this over to Superintendent Del Sordo. The the school board, it seems, is never at rest, always working, and particularly when it comes to ensuring the success and the well-being of our students and those who are trying to fit credits in and trying to maybe secure pathways that they might otherwise have not been able to do. So Superintendent Dos Sordo is going to give you a bit of a rundown of what was going on this summer in terms of summer school and some of those recoveries of credits. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Superintendent Del Sordo.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Thank you, Director Klein. This is really just an update to really talk about how successful the summer school program is happening within our board. As you can see by the numbers, it's also an opportunity for us to talk about opportunities that we offer students beyond the school year so that we can help students move to their preferred pathway and find ways to support them. So I'll ask Elizabeth if she would just go to the next slide. One of the things that you'll notice is that, sorry, Elizabeth, the previous slide. One of the things you'll notice is we are really looking and monitoring our multi-year strategic plan. And so the whole idea of the value that we have as an aspiration is that we hold on to high expectations for all. And that really what we're looking at right now is how are we doing that through summer school. And we're really focusing on providing educational experiences to support every learner. And we're also centering the students as co-creators in their learning and pathway. And this is really the work of guidance counselors and principals in the day school that really helps set it up. I would be remiss if I do not mention that the summer school principals, as well as the organizers through the Thomas Merton Center for Continuing Education, were really imperative in the success of this program. So really a big shout out to all the principals of summer school, as well as Thomas Merton. You can notice that the summer school is an opportunity for students to either recover a credit or reach ahead for a new credit. And you'll notice it through the data that we share with you, that high majority of students really reach ahead in Halton Catholic as opposed to recover a credit. For some students, summer school allows them to reach the specialist high skills major pathway requirement by taking co-op placement. So that's 1 or 2 credits. Oftentimes, we have heard from students who want to have a specialization on their diploma that they struggle to fit in the requirements of co-op, which is work-related experience and hands-on learning. And so through summer school, we've noticed that we had 4 sections of co-op. And that's very important because it allows the kids to really meet with a pathway plan that supports their future. For 2 credit co-op, we start earlier than summer school and we end later than summer school because we need to hit the time requirement as per the curriculum. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we ensure the students with the right placements. And again, a big shout out to all the co-op teachers who really do all the work to support the students in their summer, particularly through the co-op in partnership with the community. The other thing that's really interesting to note is the reach ahead from grade 8 to grade 9 and really helping parents understand that summer school is intense and it's fast paced. It is curriculum driven and overall expectations evaluated. So that when we're looking at it, it's not as if we could modify the curriculum where the student can no longer achieve the credit because we modified it too much. It really is all about hitting those expectations and how we support students in doing that. Elizabeth, next slide. Believing we are distinctly Catholic is that aspirational value we have. And when we're looking at that value here, what we're really trying to hit here and impact is honor and respect the inherent dignity of each student and staff member by offering them courses based on their voice and their choice. So you'll notice that our enrollment is going high or higher every year. And that's really, again, total kudos to the day schools for really supporting the students with pathways and letting them know all the different ways that they can hit their pathway desires. So we had a total of 5,060 students which meant that we were able to hire 189 Halton Catholic District School qualified, Ontario College of Teachers qualified to teach online. And we offered 40 different courses that the students chose. So we really honor when we're thinking about that expectation of co-creating with the students. It's really student voice and student choice driven. Elizabeth, next slide. We're looking at the belonging expectation here, that aspirational value that we are community that accompanies. We're really looking at how do we impact the value of the dignity and the perspective of every student and staff member through the summer school program. And so the courses that we offer is a variety of pathways. In grade 9, we had English, math, science. These were reach ahead for the grade 8 students. We also have careers, both in English and French. So we are supporting also our French immersion student programs, civics in English and French. And we had English, history, math, and science. In grade 11, we are able to offer biology, chemistry, English, math, physics, religion, both in English and French. And in grade 12, we were able to offer biology, business, chemistry, English, human growth, literacy course, math, physics, and religion. And recovering a credit and credit recovery, as well as co-op, we're able to offer it. So we have a 1 or 2 co-op placement to support the SHISM, and we had credit recovery. The next slide is really about student achievement in summer school and how did they do. So if you look at this chart here, you're noticing the total number of students, the total number of teachers, and the total number of credits earned. So out of the 5,060 students, we had 49,000, sorry, numeracy, it's new to me. 4,949 credits, but that also includes in there the students who took 2 credit co-ops. If you're looking at, well, how did they do in terms of achievement? Because the value that we are holding on to here as an aspirational value as a board is that we hold those high expectations for all, and that what we're really trying to measure here is creating learning and working environments that set the conditions for achievement and growth. And when you look at it, level 4 is that they not only met the ministry expectation, but they exceeded it. So they went way beyond what is required. Really seen to be known as a level 3, which is the ministry expectation. So when you look at really level 3 and level 4 and you add those together, you could really see the high level of achievement that our students had, which is about 85% at the ministry level or above, right? And you can see our unsuccessful students as well. The next section is about students who recovered credits. If you look at this data, again, what we were really looking to measure, Elizabeth, if you can move the slide, thank you. What we were able really to measure are 2 aspirational values and how we're going about maintaining them. So the achieving one, of course, how do we really look at supporting all students with high expectations for all? Well, we're focusing on that look for of really measuring, focusing on 16 credits at the age of 16. So students are behind and they're 16. We're really trying to find ways to support them. And again, this is all the work of our day schools through guidance and their teachers to really support students as they journey together. Which brings me to the next value that we as a board are aspiring to, which is about becoming, and we are on a journey together. And so what we're really looking at is transforming those environments and practices to respond to the changing needs and conditions that are for our students. So to support our board improvement plan and our multi-year strategic plan, we had 43 credits recovered during 4 weeks. And you can see the breakdown by school that in terms of how many students recovered credits. The next slide really talks about voice. And you know that when we're looking at our multi-year strategic plan as a board in terms of our aspirational value, what we're really looking at right now is that a sense of belonging and how we as a community that accompanies each other look to build those connections and shared purpose with the community to be informed and engaged. So this is really about voice and about collecting voice and honoring voice and using voice as a data to help us make decisions. So when you look at this data here, you have most parent respondents reported being satisfied or very satisfied with the full credit summer school program, an overall of 60%. 73% of the student respondents said that they were satisfied or very satisfied. 66% of parent respondents reported that they would enroll their child in a summer school course like this again, if needed. 65% of the students reported that they would enroll again. 62% of the parents responded that they would choose the current delivery model, which is asynchronous learning online, as their preferred method of summer school delivery, if given the option in the future. And 77% of the students responded that they preferred the current asynchronous model. So when we're really looking at creating that sense of belonging and hitting that aspirational value, we're really listening to the stakeholders, particularly the students, and you're saying we can offer programs for those 77s who experienced it. If you look at the next slide, it is really a statement that we as a board are thrilled to support all students in their chosen pathway and program. And at this point here, I am open for any questions.
Thank you, Superintendent Del Sordo. Trustees, do we have questions for Superintendent Del Sordo? Please put your hand up in the chat. Trustee Saunders, you have the floor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering, I noticed that it's still a substantial number of people that are not satisfied. Did you get any information as to what their concerns were with our summer programs?
Superintendent Del Sordo.
Yes, when we look at some of it, it's fast paced, so it's too fast for them. And that's really, if you're thinking about the overall expectations of a course, when you condense it into 4 weeks and you condense it to where the students are really working, they're working a lot every day. And so it is very intense.
Trustee Saunders, thank you. Up next is Trustee Kennedy. You have the floor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Just have a question about enrollment. So I think last year we had about 400 more. In the year before, I think it was 600 more. So looks like it's down about 1,000. Do you know why that may be?
Superintendent Del Sordo.
Yeah, I think if you look at the years previously, we were coming out of COVID, a number of kids weren't traveling, whereas what we're seeing now are a number of families traveling, and so they're outside of the country. And because they're outside of the country, they're making family choices. So a lot of that is really driven by the families and what they need. The other piece too is a lot of students are now starting to realize that because they can only get 34 credits in day school, and that is that hard cap of 34 credits, that what they're realizing is how they can better pathway plan so that summer school is no longer an option that they should exercise. So we're really supporting the kids on being on track during the day school through pathway programming.
Thank you, Trustee Kennedy.
I'm just curious. So 2 years ago in 2022, was that the year we had online and in person as well in class? And it was the last 2 years we only did asynchronous?
Sorry, and for you, Chair. Trustee Kennedy, no, I believe it's been online since COVID, and it's never been back to face-to-face, which was prior to COVID.
Thank you. I will now move up the speakers list to Trustee Yeboah.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, you mentioned that the time frame for a 2-credit co-op would be from the beginning of June to later in August. What does the time frame look like for a 1-credit co-op course?
Superintendent Del Sordo.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, I believe it would be student trustee. I believe it would be the same as the 4 weeks. It's the 2-credit co-op that's longer.
Thank you, Trustee Yeboah. You get a follow-up question if you have another question.
I was just wondering as well, if a student wanted to take 2 courses during the summer, I don't know why a student would do that, but is that possible? Is that something that can happen?
Superintendent Del Sordo.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Student trustee Yeboah, I don't think that is possible.
Thank you, trustees. Any other questions for Superintendent Del Sordo? Seeing none. Thank you, Superintendent Del Sordo, and for supporting 5,000 plus students this summer and offering 40 courses for grade 9 to 12 with a very high success rate. Thank you and your staff for the wonderful work you do, and thank you for the presentation. We shall now move on to we shall now move on down our agenda. Delegations, we have no delegations. Our next order of business is the consent agenda. Action item 6.1 is action item. 6.2 is noted items. We shall vote on the action items, all of them except item 6.1.2.3. And there will be no vote on or discussion on the action items. Noted items, we shall not be discussing or voting on them. With that, I shall read the motion. Resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board approve consent agenda items 6.1.2.1, 6.1.2.2, 6.1.2.4, 6.1.2.5, and 6.1.2.6 on September 17, 2024 as submitted. May I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Trustee O'Hearn, Janata moves. Trustee, I saw Trustee Murphy, your mic on. I shall take this to a recorded vote. Trustee Kelly.
In favor.
Trustee Murphy.
In favor.
Trustee Saunders.
In favor.
Trustee McGuire.
In favor.
Trustee Yaboa.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Powell.
In favor.
Trustee Kennedy.
In favor.
Trustee O'Hearn Chinara.
In favor.
Vice Chair Agnew.
In favor.
We have 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. Consent agenda gets disapproved. We shall skip over item number 7, approval of the minutes, business on previous meeting, action items. Next order of business is action items. We have a couple of action items tonight. We shall follow a standard bylaw process of question time and debate time. First action item 9.1, Halton Hills Elementary School Boundary Review. Superintendent Merrick, please speak to this item and then I will read the motion. Superintendent Merrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, we have the Halton Hills School Boundary Review. This report is as presented at the September 3rd meeting, and as we had a discussion there, and we are excited to get started with this boundary review in October. So there's one resolution for consideration tonight, which is to initiate the school boundary review for Halton Hills and to create a new boundary for the new Georgetown West Elementary School.
Thank you, Superintendent Merrick. I will now read the motion, place it on the floor, get it moved and seconded, and then shall take questions. Resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board directs staff to initiate a school boundary review process to establish a new school boundary for Georgetown West Catholic Elementary School and address enrollment pressures in elementary schools in the town of Halton Hills. May I have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
Trustee O'Hearn Janada moves. Looking for a seconder, please.
Second.
Trustee Powell seconds it. I shall now open up question time. Trustees, do we have questions? Superintendent Merrick? No debate, no questions. That was easy. Thank you, trustees. With that, I shall now call the vote on the motion that we see on our screen. It was moved by Trustee O'Hearn Chinara, seconded by Trustee Powell. Trustee Murphy?
In favor.
Trustee Saunders?
In favor.
Trustee McGuire?
In favor.
Trustee Yaboa?
In favor.
Trustee Carabella?
In favor.
Trustee Powell?
In favor.
Trustee Kennedy?
In favor.
Trustee O'Hearn Chinara?
So in favor.
Vice Chair Agnew?
In favor.
Trustee Kelly?
In favor.
So we have 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. We shall now move on to item 9.4. Policy I-36, Trustee Code of Conduct. Trustee O'Hearn Chinara, could you please read the motion? We'll get it up on screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee that Policy I-36, Trustee Code of Conduct, be approved.
Thank you, Trustee Johan Janata. Trustee Johan Janata moves the motion. This item has come to the board from policy and we only need a mover. This was requested to be removed by Trustee Carabella. Yeah, thank you. Do we have any questions, trustees, or do you have any questions, Trustee Johan? Okay, no. So I shall then call the vote directly on this item. Thank you. So this item has come to policy. We do not need a mover and second. Okay, that's it. Good. So I shall call the vote on item 9.4. Trustee Saunders?
Abstain.
Trustee McGuire?
In favor.
Trustee Yeboah?
In favor.
Trustee Carabella?
Opposed.
Trustee Powell?
Favor.
Trustee Kennedy?
Approved. In favor.
Trustee Johan Janata?
In favor.
Vice Chair Agnew?
In favor.
Trustee Kelly?
In favor.
Trustee Murphy?
In favor.
We have 6 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 abstention. Motion carries. The policy is approved. We shall now move on to our next order of business, which is staff reports. Item number 10. 10.1, proposed 2025 facility renewal projects. Superintendent Merrick, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, we are already looking ahead to our summer 2025 facility renewal projects and identifying key projects to keep our schools in great shape. We have a number of projects identified in the report in front of you tonight. The most urgent being the Corpus Christi roofing project. We have a skylight there over the atrium, which needs work done on it. We're hoping to do that actually this fall. So that's why we're a little earlier than usual with our project request coming into the board, but we also have all of our projects lined up for next summer as well. In the renewal and roofing categories, you'd have Ascension getting renewal and a new roof. St. Patrick's in Burlington as well, getting a renewal and a new roof. We also have HVAC, automation and boilers for Christ the King in Georgetown, St. Bernadette's in Oakville and St. Joan of Arc in Oakville. St. Gabriel's looking at new windows in certain sections of that building. And then finally, Notre Dame in Burlington with the new track, field lights and exterior work. So that's in the report in front of you tonight. The costs are estimated at roughly $9 million. And that includes design fees and contingency. And we also, we do have funding available for this. It would be funded through existing renewal streams that we receive from the ministry. So we're hoping to bring 2 resolutions to the board on the October 8th board meeting. And that would be the first. You see the drafts there in your report. But the first resolution would be to approve the projects and the second to approve the project budget at $9 million. And happy to take any questions that trustees may have tonight or between now and the next meeting as well.
Thank you, Superintendent Merrick. Trustees, please raise your hand if you have questions. Trustee Saunders.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Superintendent Merrick, I'm just wondering, for the new schools that we build, what kind of warranty do we get on repairs? Because I think together we noted there had been some small deficiencies in the one school. I wonder if you could just speak to that.
Superintendent Merrick.
Yeah, it really depends on the building component. For the most part, on a new build, we do have a 1-year holdback. So we hold back a certain portion of the capital for a year, and you have quite a bit of control over any warranty items within that 1 year. Beyond that, there are certain, I guess, material components that would have longer lifespans. Roofing is one typically, but they are extremely difficult to actually make claims on. And you look at the Corpus Christi roof, it's been around for over a decade now, so we're well beyond the warranty periods on those things. But it does vary by item, but a lot of it, you have to prove, I guess, installation techniques, and it is very hard to make claims on some of those items after a long period of time.
Thank you, Trustee Saunders. Thank you. Up next is Trustee Carabella. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I was just wondering, because I think in the past, and I was trying to see last year's renewal report, that Holy Family was also listed, and I don't see it on this list. So I'm just wondering, and I think it had some substantial renewals planned. So I just want to know what's happening with Holy Family or why it's not on the list. Thank you.
Superintendent Merrick?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. It's not on the list because we're done it now. We did it last summer and 2 summers ago and this past summer. So if you take a walk through there, it looks much different than it used to. The hallways now, we now have bright tiles in the hallways. They used to have kind of the red, small terracotta colored tiles in there. It's very kind of darker school. It looks much newer now. So yeah, much brighter.
Thank you, Trustee Carabella. Follow
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other trustees, questions for Superintendent Merrick? Seeing none, thank you, Superintendent Merrick, for presenting the proposed 2025 facilities renewal projects. With that, we shall move on to our next order of business, item number 11, information item, Director's Report. 11.1, Director Klein, please present your report.
Thank you, Chair. Again, a brief report just to highlight some of the good things going on at our board since the last time we met 2 weeks ago. Focus will be on, again, achieving, believing, belonging, and becoming. Priorities for student achievement, in particular, early literacy, recent and ongoing good news. Again, nourishing our faith. Elementary school athletics, which starts in the fall and goes all year. And then I want to highlight one of our new schools, and that's St. Josephine Bakita. The Better Schools and Student Outcomes Act of last year provided a lot of different things, but in particular reforms to further support student achievement. It mandated the use of a student achievement plan by school boards that would focus on 3 provincial priorities: achievement of learning outcomes and core academic skills, particular numeracy and literacy, preparation of students for future success, fairly broad, student engagement and well-being. This report focuses on early literacy, particularly reading. And we know that's an essential component of the focus on core academic skills. It has been for many years in different iterations at this board and other boards. To support this goal, we've committed to the following: ensuring educators are supported with time to complete the screening assessments and related data handling through the support of a team of early reading screening support teachers. And training presently and last June, at the end of June, of staff to administer screening tools and receive comprehensive professional learning on the specific reading screening tool or tools that they'll be administering over the next several weeks. It was not that long ago, it was about almost exactly a week, that the Chief Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission was here to visit us, and Superintendent Kroll and I spent some time with her. She's traveling the province, and we were probably one of the last 2 boards to give a sense for her the work that we're doing at Halton to ensure that the early literacy needs of our students are being met. I would have to say her responses were very positive and very supportive for what we're doing. Further to this, establishing of an early literacy steering committee, which involves special education and curriculum services, to develop and provide comprehensive and sustained job-embedded professional learning on the fundamental processes related to reading, early reading skills, and the needs of learners with reading difficulties, and implementing measures and resources and programs and guides to train and provide mandatory, explicit, systematic, and direct instruction in foundational word reading skills, including phonemic awareness, phonics, decoding, and word study. Some trustees might be aware that the world of literacy has always been a focus for this board and other boards, but the shift in how we approach literacy has been something that has been accelerated over the last few years. Many have heard over the last 20 plus years, balanced literacy or comprehensive literacy. The shift in the last 4 years, and a lot of it was, I guess, fomented or ignited by the Right to Read report from the Ontario Human Rights Commission, is looking at what's known as the science of reading. And the debate has gone on for many years about proper strategies for teaching literacy, but the province has certainly landed on strategies and resources that are of use for all of us. terms of the work we do with our faith life, it's often something that's not fully understood, but the funding that we get from the province does not include funding for faith life. And so the focus that we have here to ensure that our staff, our leaders, and our educators have their own faith needs nurtured so they can indeed become better and more effective educators in our Catholic system is very important to us. And you saw her not that long ago, but our system chaplain and faith formation lead, Chilean Federico, obviously our friend Superintendent Nar. We have many chaplains and consultants and several other staff. We're very grateful to them for their ongoing commitment to nurturing these fires of faith within our board. And I'll highlight just a few that are of recent note. Preparation of materials for year 3 of our theological theme. We know that comes through the scripture passage from Micah. The focus this year is on love, kindness. Preparation of theological education for leadership program, otherwise known as TEL. You know we have quite an array of leadership development programs. The theological education for leadership program focuses on nurturing again the Catholic educational leader. Development of adult faith formation syllabus for this coming year. Beginning the preparations for the Jubilee Year of Hope. So start of 2025 is a Jubilee year, and that is the focus of which is on hope. Distribution and promotion of Catholic Education Week 2025. And the materials that we get from OXTA are varied and amazing and tiered to different levels of our school system. And we're reminded that Catholic Education Week is obviously a week in May that we celebrate, but the materials and the resources are things that can be used from the first day. And preparation of Faith Day that's coming up on October the 11th. Again, this board and other boards in the province that are Catholic boards do dedicate at least one day where they focus entirely on that which sustains us, and that is our faith. Preparation of prayer packages for all the PA days of the year, whether it's a PA day that's focused on literacy or numeracy or mental health and well-being. We obviously have woven through it the gifts of our faith. And lunch and learn book studies for staff at the CEC, most recent of which was through this summer with the book that focused on the Lord's Prayer. Elementary inter-school athletics. Got a lot of detail on this, but I'd like to again just provide openly here gratitude to our leaders in program curriculum who lead this and organize this. It is a lot of work. It's kind of military in its complexities. We provide several opportunities for elementary students to engage in inter-school athletics, and we're grateful obviously to the staff and lots of volunteers who dedicate themselves. I will not go through this in detail, but you certainly know that in elementary schools, starting next week, we begin focusing on volleyball, and that goes all the way through to just before Advent. And obviously we have it geared to our different municipalities. Cross country begins again in just before Thanksgiving, and basketball will be something that kids can participate in after Christmas and into the new year, and that goes to just before March break. And then soccer ends off the year with the springtime tournaments, and that I think for many of us is a great sign that summer is on its way when we have our track and field meets. I know many trustees have gone to when they get the opportunity to do that as well. And the list of those dates are there, and those are opportunities, of course, for trustees to visit as well. St. Josephine Bakhita. St. Josephine Bakhita is one of 3 elementary schools that we've opened, 1 secondary school. Trustee Duarte and Trustee Agnew and O'Hearn Charnada and I were at a OXTA regional meeting today, and I was very happy to say, in terms of the good news at this school board, that we've opened, again, 4 schools in a matter of days or weeks. And there were, I think, except for maybe Toronto, which is huge, I think a lot of jaws that dropped and eyes that were widened by this. It's a lot. And then to say that we're going to be digging spades into the ground in about a month for our Milton 11, and then we'll begin very shortly in terms of the ball rolling for Georgetown West. That's pretty amazing. And our boards and our schools are packed. So February 8th is the feast day for this gentle and strong saint. The parish that is connected to this school is St. Benedict, and Father Larry Parent is the pastor there, and obviously the community is Southwest Milton. Right now it's 107, but we do know how things work with new elementary schools. It will grow very quickly. And Mr. Chinanea and Ms. Bakaich are the principal and superintendent respectfully. And we have a staff now of 20. All areas of the building, this is from last week, so I know things shift and evolve by the hour. All areas of the building have been completed except for the Learning Commons. Some people still refer to that as library, which will be done within 2 to 3 weeks. Landscaping and kindergarten daycare playgrounds taking place on the exterior of the school, and the weather, of course, has been very helpful for that. We have partners. Milton Community Resource Center operates before and after school care for K to 8 students, and they'll also open a full-time daycare in the weeks to come upon receiving occupancy. Here are just a few pictures of this. And again, if not stunning, certainly impressive architecture and aesthetically pleasing, even though there's quite a bit of work to be done in these pictures. Happy to entertain any questions or comments at this point. And the goal is to feature some of these other new schools as we move forward.
Thank you, Director Klein. Trustees, please raise your hands if you have questions for Director Klein. Up first is Trustee McGuire. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you through you, Chair. Thank you, Director Klein, for your report tonight. It's wonderful as always. I was really interested in your talking about early literacy and stuff. So I just wanted to ask more like, what does early literacy encompass? And like once, I guess students move out of those supports and may need further literacy supports and stuff, like how would the follow through look like for those students?
Director Klein?
Perfect. I'm going to tip it over to Superintendent Kroll in a minute, but by early, we do mean early. So we begin, this is within the kindergarten program and moving into grade 1 and 2, with the, I think, fairly reasonable logic being that if we begin as early as possible to meet the needs of students in terms of oral language and then reading, the payoffs are much more impressive. But Superintendent Kroll?
Certainly, through you, Mr. Chair. This is just an appetizer, so we're going to bring a report to the board in November. We'll be able to give sort of a more fulsome presentation around the early literacy screening. My staff right now are laser focused on training teachers, which is happening ongoing throughout this week, and then getting into classrooms to support the screening happening. So that, as Director Klein said, it'll happen in second year of kindergarten, grade 1 and grade 2 English speaking, as well as grade 2 French speaking, so French immersion. I'd like to bring my the lead literacy teacher to come and give a proper presentation around the different components of reading, the 5 different components, share a resource that we developed for parents and how they can support literacy at home. So with your permission, wouldn't mind saying, would love to answer that question. I'd love to do it with the presentation in November, if that's okay.
Thank you. Trustee McGuire, do you have a follow-up question?
No, thank you for answering my question. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the presentation.
Thank you. Trustees, any further questions for Director Klein?
Just want to say too, it was noting, sorry, Chair, with Superintendent Kroll, his support and his leadership in this, but I think we should also mention Jacqueline Priest-Brown as well, the consultant who's leading this and who was really first and foremost in terms of the dialogue with the Chief Commissioner of Human Rights Commission in Ontario. So we're very grateful for her work.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Klein, for presenting your report. We have lots of things happening in our schools, and best wishes to our students and staff. And please keep sharing updates as we throughout the year. With that, we shall move on to item 11.2, construction report. Superintendent Merrick, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, we have the construction report for September. I think first up, we have St. Kateri. So St. Kateri, our new secondary school in Milton, opened up on September 4th. I do want to stress how amazing it is that we got occupancy on this building in 20 months. We started this build in January 2023. Frankly, it should take about 36 months. Like, it's probably a reasonable time frame to build this building, and they shaved almost half the schedule off this thing. So to get it opened in 20 months. So it's our first 4-story secondary school. It's pretty unique in the province as well. There are a few around, but there's not many in the province. But takes a little longer to build as well. So amazing that they all the construction workers on the site, the trades, even our professional services contractors, our engineers, our architects did a fantastic job coordinating, making sure we keep moving on site and keeping things rolling along to get us open for September of this year. There is still work to complete. You can see from the site photos there. Even some of those, those were taken a couple weeks ago now. It's already progressed from there. It moves pretty quick when you get near the end of a project, but you can see from the photos there, the turf looks like it's almost done. I saw photos there from yesterday. The logos are going in now. The end zone name is going in there as well. It should be done by the end of this week. We'll have the turf opened up there. The cafeteria will be hopefully opened up in early October. They're just working on some of the lighting fixtures there. And then moving into November, hopefully early November, we have the gym finished there as well. I think there's one photo there of the gym, but you can see there's windows missing. The windows finally arrived. They were supposed to be there in early July. They finally arrived today on site. So getting those installed in the next couple of weeks, which lets us get our flooring in and finish off the gymnasium there. So that's St. Kateri. We also have St. Josephine. Opened up on September 4th as well. This one much further along, the classrooms and the gym all complete. As Director Klein mentioned, the library is hopefully going to be completed for the end of September. Just some flooring going in there, and then the millwork finishes to happen there. There are some landscaping and minor finishes outside to wrap up as well, but again, targeting kind of end of the month, early into October to get all of those wrapped up. And then lastly, on the next page, we have St. Cecilia in Oakville, again, opened up on September 4th. This is by far the furthest along I've ever seen a build in my decade that I've been here. But it's well in hand. We had occupancy on this back in June. The building is very complete, and just some minor deficiencies left to wrap up there as we kind of grow into the building and figure out and start using items and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and fixing those things up. So really hectic and busy summer getting 3 new buildings open. Again, we still have some work to do on a couple of those builds over the next couple of months, but really happy that we were able to open those up and offer some great new facilities for our families.
Thank you, Superintendent Merrick. Trustees, do we have any questions or comments for Superintendent Merrick? Seeing none, I want to really commend you, Superintendent Merrick, and your staff for the wonderful work done. This has been an achievement, no doubt, and we did highlight this at Oxta. Building a high school in 20 weeks is an achievement, and the ministry does recognize that too, that we are a board which we can turn around things and very quickly, and yeah, we have that reputation. So thank you so much for all the work done. Thank you to your staff, and I know you worked very hard over the summer, and I've been bugging you too. So thanks so much for that. With that, we shall now move on to our next order of business, which is miscellaneous information. 12.1 student trustees update. Student trustees, please present your report. Who would like to start?
Yeah, thank you through you, Chair. I'll be starting our report tonight, reading our achieving section. So as we all are aware, at the beginning of the school year, the board has implemented the restrictions on cell phone and social media in classrooms as a result of our PPM 128 from the ministry. Students have found that it has overall been an adjustment process to have their phones and stuff, which as anticipated and stuff, we understand that students are attached to their phones and stuff and would like to have them at some points. But I know that a lot of HEDSB schools have had strong electronic usage policies and enforcements in the past. So this has kind of made the transition to the new ministry mandate smoother because students are used to having more rules around, cell phone usage and stuff. So it's nothing necessarily too new for students. And students also too have received very specific and clear guidelines from their teachers and their administrators through things like grade level assemblies and just in-class discussions. So it's kind of helping students to understand the ministry's changes. So students have overall coped quite well with this policy change, and we appreciate all the efforts that the staff has made to make this a success. And then I'll pass it off to Isabel for the believing and belonging section.
Yeah, so aligning with the believing pillar of pillar. So schools have beginning to, hold masses to open the school year, and similar to the one we actually held tonight earlier this evening. So we're really appreciating the opportunity that the Catholic education has provided us to really develop our faith within our schools. And, this time of year, which is back to school, of course, it is also the time where many students actually may need and many of their families as well may struggle to cover the cost of school supplies and uniforms, as well as other school-related expenses. So we're really blessed to have the Halton Catholic Children's Foundation with their work in aiding these families that are in need of this help. This year, our Student Senate are really hoping to find ways to kind of raise our awareness of these important charities and get students more involved in the fundraising process for the foundation. So moving along to the belonging pillar, as you guys may be aware, September 30th is the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So this day is really a memorial for all the Indigenous children who were abused and neglected in the horrific system of residential schools. So this day, of course, is commemorated throughout the HCDSB and is a really, really great way to start discussions within classrooms and with students in general about the impacts of residential schools and the struggles and issues that Indigenous people are facing. So many students are greatly passionate about the cause of truth and reconciliation, and we really wish to kind of see them being more involved in these conversations and the journey of reconciliation within our board. So we have already kind of made big strides as a board in moves such as having students complete the NB3U grade 11 English course. And we really hope to continue this work through days and courses like this. Additionally, as student trustees, we really are looking for more ways to engage in truth and reconciliation through our role as student leaders. So really overall, we're really excited to continue the path of reconciliation through working with students and the board to make positive changes and really make sure that everyone really feels like they belong within our schools.
All right, and then I'll finish off a report with our becoming section as aligned with our new strategic policy. So student trustees were having a lot of many exciting opportunities and events coming up. So we were supposed to attend our Oxta Central Regional meeting. Unfortunately, we were unable to make that today, but we know that it was a great session and stuff, and a lot of people from our board went. So we are glad that it all went well. Additionally, we're also hosting our first Student Senate meeting next week on the 25th. This is an exciting meeting as we are going to be electing our lead senators and Senate subcommittee chairs, who are the leaders that kind of help to lead Senate in very specific ways in their schools or different focus groups. And this really shows the student leadership that we put into action. And as student trustees, we also too are being able to participate in this Ministry of Education run student trustee orientation, which is done in collaboration with our Ontario Student Trustees Association. Which is happening in early October. And we appreciate OSTA ACO and the ministry taking time to put together this professional development for us. I participated in this session last year and it was very valuable. So I know that all three of us will really benefit from what we will learn from this session. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, student trustees, for your report. Trustees, do we have questions, comments for student trustees? If not, thank you for presenting your report and thank you for bringing student voice to the table. Thank you so much. We shall now move on to item 12.2, OCSTA update. Trustee Ohanchanara, please present your verbal report.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair, to fellow trustees and staff. Thank you for that, Trustee McGuire. That's a good segue to my talk. So as we've talked about a few times, we were at the Central Regional meeting today, hot off the press. as about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So I'll read you some highlights, but I'm not that quick and I don't have anything in writing. So the day was really fruitful. We had we spoke about Catholic identity with Anne O'Brien, Director of Catholic Education. Then we had a session on Catholic Education Week 2025, Pilgrims of Hope and Jubilee Year. Then we spoke a lot about the Director of Catholic Education Performance Appraisal. Nick Milanetti, the Executive Director, spoke to that. And then each board was asked to provide answers to questions for group discussions. And the questions were, please provide an update on the status of local collective bargaining. Please share any challenges your board may be experiencing. And please highlight points of celebration, successes, achievements at your board to be delivered at the meeting. So as we do sometimes, we delegated to our Director of Education, John Klein. So good job representing Halton Catholic at the Central Regional meeting today. And just for FYI, the boards that attended this Central Region were Dufferin Peel, Durham, ourselves, Hamilton Wentworth, Niagara, Simcoe Muskoka, Toronto Catholic, and York Catholic. And it was held downtown at 80 Shepherd Avenue, which I have to say I couldn't do that drive from Georgetown every day. So I really had patience and hope that I would get there alive this morning, and everything worked out well. So I will put something a little formally. Please feel free at any time to reach out to myself if you have any questions or any more information. I'm more than happy to share all of this information with you. So thank you for your time. Any questions or concerns, please
Thank you.
Feel free.
Thank you, trustees. Any questions, clarifications from Trustee Johan Chanara? It was a great day today, and really want to thank all the trustees who came out, Vice Chair Agnew, Trustee Johan Chanara, and I want to thank our student trustees for attempting, making your best attempt to come there. And it was a great day, and was been a long day. The drive was long. But the content was really good, and lots of information for trustees. Maybe Trustee Johan Chanara, once we get slide decks, we can share it with trust. No? Okay. Okay, thank you once again, Trustee Johan Chanara, for presenting. And with that, we shall move on to our next order of business, which is correspondence. We have none. Open question period. Item number 14, Director Klein, have you received any questions in the open question period? Thank you, Director Klein. With that, item number 15, in camera, we do not have to go in camera, so we shall skip that. Item number 16, resolution regarding absentees. We have student trustee Philbert, who could not make it today. We have a motion to excuse student trustee Philbert. Looking for a motion. Trustee Johan Chanara moves. Looking for a seconder. Trustee Murphy. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Student trustee Philbert is excused. We now move on to a final order of business, which is adjournment and closing prayer. May I have a motion to adjourn? Looking for a mover, please. Trustee Saunders beat you to it. Saunders and then Trustee Murphy seconds. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Trustee Murphy, could you please lead us in the closing prayer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Today is the feast day of St. Robert Bellarmine, Bishop and Doctor of the Church, a Jesuit theologian and one of the most important figures in the Counter-Reformation. He's the patron saint of catechesis and catechumens. So let us pray for his intercession in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. O God, who didst adorn blessed Robert, thy bishop and doctor, with marvelous learning and virtue to expose the deceptions of error and to defend the rights of the apostolic see, grant by his merits and intercession that love for the truth may increase in us, and the souls that do wander may return to the unity of thy church. Through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Trustee Murphy. Thank you for a great meeting. Good night.